Okay guys, welcome back to my career mode. We're at Bahrain now for part 3, round 2 of the F1 season. We've had a couple of developments which have failed, so we're going to have to redo them now. A bit of engine power and a bit of chassis.
I recommend we could go for something like this.
It costs a bit less to develop them because they failed once. So we'll put them two straight on. But that means we had no upgrades for this round. But we still have 1,200 points left to put a bit of aerodynamics on as well. I'm going to change it up a bit for this part. You'll see a bit further on into the video what we're going to do, but I'll take us through qualifying for now.
Looking at this field today, Anthony, do you think we're going to see anyone take a chance? Maybe run the hard tyres and save some of the grippier tyres for the race tomorrow?
Well, I'd be surprised in all honesty. It's only the front runners that really have the pace to get away with that. And even then, at the end of the day, it's a big risk. Track position is the most important thing, and it's rarely worth sacrificing for a slightly more optimal strategy in the race, so I doubt we're going to see anyone trying it. I have been wrong before though. We certainly do see some risky decisions every now and then, and it's a gamble that's sometimes worth taking. But if it were me in the car, I would want to be on the fastest tyre for my qualifying lap, without a doubt.
Okay, so on to our qualifying lap now. Again, we're going to be miles off the leaders like we were in Australia, but hopefully we will be around about the same positions we were for Australia. We were 7th, but as you can see the Ferrari's already disappeared. So again, top left hand corner is the position we are. I managed to make up quite a lot of speed through this little section here. I managed to carry a lot more speed through there than most people, so that threw me up to 14th, gained 6 places in that little bit there. As we come to the end of the first sector, sorry, the second sector, we're quite a way down on Vettel. So Leclerc won in Australia, so the Ferrari's looking pretty decent at the moment. We're 14th as we come to the second half of the lap, only a few straights to go. And we're 1.6 of Vettel through the second sector, so the last sector is just a couple of straights. There's one corner that we've got to get right, but we're up to 12th, which would be a decent starting position. 14th is our target. So as we open our DRS and come to the line with 13th for the race.
We're very happy with that position.
Isn't too bad, just about beat our target. Okay, so we've got another Ferrari front row lockout, as in Australia. Hamilton 3rd, Gasly out, qualifies for Verstappen in 4th. We're in 13th. And Webber, one of our rivals, is just ahead of us, and the Butler is in 7th. And Lando Norris is last. So, it's not great. Yeah, so without further ado, we'll go into the race.
On the desert stage of Sakir, as the players take their places for the opening act. Will they enthrall us like they did in 2014 with that titanic battle between Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton? Well, we'll find out shortly as we get underway here in Bahrain.
After the points finish last race, let's aim to keep the momentum going.
Okay, so we've got 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. And we're off, and it's a terrible start for me to begin with. And at the front we've got Leclerc attacking Vettel and Hamilton trying to attack Leclerc as well around the outside. And we've managed to dive up the inside of a few, but then we've also clattered the curb as well, so lost the momentum a bit there. And we've got an Alfa Romeo on our tail now, but we've managed to get a good run on Webber. We're going to try it down the outside of him into turn 3. And he's clattered the curb himself, so we've managed to do that. That's a good start from us. At the end of the day, now we've just got to keep him behind us. So in front of us we've got the 2 Renaults. So Hulkenberg first one, and Ricciardo in front of him. And there's a Williams in front of them too. So we've got Kubica, who's had a great start and is fighting for the top 10 at the moment. That's Ricciardo in front of us, not Hulkenberg. To lap 2, and Kubica is now coming under pressure from Hulkenberg. He's had to go defensive into turn 1. And he's managed to keep that position, but Vettel still leads from Hamilton. And a small gap back to Leclerc, then Bottas, and then Gasly. And then Verstappen's being held up by the 2 Force Indias. You've got Butler and Perez in 6th and 7th at the moment. Vettel's coming under a lot of pressure from Hamilton now, as is Leclerc with Bottas. It's Ferrari versus Mercedes in the top 4. And DRS will be enabled at the end of this lap, but Leclerc's already going defensive to Bottas. Bottas might not need DRS, and Hamilton might not either, because he's right on the back of Sebastian Vettel now. And Gasly's looking interested behind Bottas too, so Leclerc might lose a few positions here. And Bottas goes to the outside into the last corner. Leclerc keeps it to the inside, gives him enough room, and Bottas is through into 3rd place. So you've got Hamilton going up the inside of Vettel as well. And Hamilton's through, but Leclerc comes back at Bottas. Around the outside, Bottas is through into 3rd. So you got Hamilton 1st, Vettel 2nd, and Bottas 3rd now. But Leclerc opens his DRS on Bottas and tries to go up the inside of turn 3. And Bottas keeps it on the outside. Brilliant racing between the 2 drivers there. And Leclerc could come under immense pressure from Gasly now towards the end of the lap. So on board with Leclerc, we've got Bottas in front of us and Gasly in our mirrors. Gasly's just a bit too far back there, but he'll have a great chance down the pit straight of DRS. Now on board with Gasly. We're going back down the field. We've got Perez. Perez holding off Butler, who's still holding off Verstappen. Butler's looking a bit close to his teammate here though. He's going to get DRS down the pit straight. On to lap 4 we go. And Butler opened his rear wing. He's getting closer, closer. Perez going defensive. Butler's going to try up the inside. And he's got the line, and he hasn't got the position though, because Perez has kept it around the outside and keeps the position. Bit of a gap forming now between Perez and Gasly though, for about 5 seconds. So Verstappen's losing time, a lot of time to his teammate. Meanwhile, a bit further back, you got Furs going up the inside of Hulkenberg. They've touched. Hulkenberg keeps the position, and Kubica's still in front of Hulkenberg, and Ricciardo's got through Kubica, so he can chase down the next group, which has Verstappen the 2 racing points and the Haas of Kevin Magnussen. But he's got Kubica with his DRS still open behind him. Williams going well at the moment. Head towards the end of lap 4 onto lap 5 out of 29. Pits are now under pressure from Hulkenberg. You got Verstappen going inside of Butler here. And he's nearly hit Perez in front, but he's managed to get past Butler. No, he hasn't. Butler's still there. And then Verstappen's managed to get around the outside of turn 2, so he's up into 7th place. And he's now going to have to dispatch Perez very quickly if he wants to catch his teammate up, who's still right on the back of Charles Leclerc. Who's now got his teammate ahead of him, so he's been passed by Bottas, and the 2 Mercedes now lead. 2 Mercedes, 2 Ferraris and a Red Bull, which could become 2 Mercedes, a Ferrari, a Red Bull and a Ferrari. The Ferraris are really struggling here after a great qualifying session and a great start to the race. They've fallen back. Gasly closing on Leclerc. He's have to go defensive into the last corner. Gasly's going to get a great drive off this last corner. He's going to have DRS to aid him as well. Opens his DRS, so does Leclerc, but Gasly's got so much more pace. And he breezes past the Ferrari. You've got Vettel coming back at Bottas ahead. Bottas has that one covered. Oh, maybe not. Vettel's gone up the inside turn 2, but Bottas is still there. But Leclerc's fallen right back down to 6th now. But you've still got Vettel going out the outside of Bottas. Can he keep his foot in around the outside? Yes, he can. And he's through. He's back up to 2nd. Great move there from Vettel. Lewis Hamilton's untouchable at the moment though. He's cruising in the lead. Can Vettel hold on to 2nd place this time? Can Leclerc come back? So 4 cars, 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th, all in the same picture within about a second of each other. All got DRS apart from Vettel in 2nd. And Verstappen's made it past Perez. Let's see if he can make an impression on the top 5 now. Oh, close one there. Furs trying out the inside Kubica, who shut him off. Nearly lost his front wing there, but he got away with it. And Webber still keeping a close eye on Furs as he tries to attack the Williams. He could have a chance here. Furs. He's opened his DRS, and Kubica of the Mercedes engine is quick in a straight line, but he's had to go defensive, and Furs sends one up the inside. Late move there, but he's made it stick. No, he hasn't. He's hit the curb, and that's given Kubica the place back, but he's still going to have to defend it to turn 3. You got Webber trying it on Furs as well, not quite close enough. First centre up the inside, and they bang wheels, but I think he's made it stick. That was a risky move there, but he's managed to keep that place, and the Williams will now have to defend from Webber. Well, First has gone wide into the next corner, but he's kept the position. Been a lively start to the race for Kubica. Williams going for it again up the inside of thirds. This is incredible. I bet the McLaren didn't think he was going to be fighting with the Williams during the first phase of the race. He's kept the position for now. He'll be hoping to gain a bit of a gap before the pitch straight. I would say it's so quick in the straight line. The Williams' engine, and he's going to try and use it now as he opens his DRS. And to look at the speed difference between the Mercedes and the Renault engine, and he breezes past the McLaren. Could this be a good point scoring race for Williams? Of course, there's a bit of a gap in front with all that battling going on. So the two racing points still line astern. Small gap back to the Renault of Daniel Ricciardo. And they're watching Max Verstappen disappear into the distance. Leclerc still right on the back of the Mercedes, but he can't do anything about it at the moment. As Verstappen chases him down. Sorry, Leclerc's behind Gasly, not the Mercedes. Mercedes have now disappeared, and so has Vettel. And Leclerc dives into the pit lane for his first stop. While the Mercedes is in front of him, I assume that's Bottas. And Bottas goes out on soft tyres while Leclerc will be released on mediums. Soft for Verstappen as well. As Kubica, Furs and Webber cross the start-finish line. And Furs is going for it up the inside again. Surely he's going this time. Goes a bit wide to cut him off, and he has the position for now. I think Kubica's now going to come under pressure from Webber as well. As Ricciardo continues in his pursuit for the racing points, or even closer now. Could be a position swap there soon. Butler trying to hold off his teammate Perez. They have swapped around because Perez was in front of Butler, so Butler has gained a position there. Perez obviously not giving up though. Still right behind his teammate. But Ricciardo is hunting them down, and hunting them down fast. But Perez dives into the pit lane and Butler keeps going. The other Red Bull of Gasly has just been in for a stop as well, and Furs continues. Is he one stopping? Is Ricciardo one stopping? Is Butler one stopping? And you can see in the background you've got the Ferraris and the Mercedes, they're stuck in the midfield. They're going to be losing time. If the one stoppers can hold them off, then you can never know what's going to happen. And Ricciardo now right on the back of Devon Butler. These two are essentially in the lead right now. They haven't stopped. They're only one stop in. Everyone else has stopped. So Butler leads from Ricciardo. I'll be surprised if that changes at the end of this lap though. Ricciardo will sail past. So onto the pit straight, Butler's pitting, and Ricciardo takes the lead. Ricciardo from third from Webber. And look at this absolute gaggle in the midfield. And you've got the two Mercedes fighting each other. And who's that? That's Hamilton up the inside of Bottas. Oh, they've touched. And Leclerc's touched with the Williams as well. Bottas leads from Hamilton from Vettel now. So they've now got to catch the other one stoppers of Ricciardo and Furs and Webber and Kubica. This change of strategies has thrown this race wide open now. They're now going to have to push on those tyres more than they wanted to. So Vettel now will get DRS on Hamilton, who's got DRS on Bottas, so that should be stalemate really. Although the Ferrari is quick in a straight line, so he is closing on Hamilton, but he's going to run out of road before he can get there. And behind we've got George Russell holding off the Red Bull. How long for? I do not know, but it's Gasly, and he's going to... No, he's not going to sail up the inside. He's now going to have to wait, and he's got Leclerc on his tail. Surely down this next straight, Gasly will open his DRS and sail past the Williams. He can't afford to be held up for too much longer. And Russell goes defensive, but Gasly sails up the inside, and that's a done deal there. And now he's going to fend off Leclerc. Seriously holding up Leclerc now as Gasly starts to get away, but Leclerc with the superior Ferrari engine will now sail out the inside of the last corner and resume his chase on Pierre Gasly. As Kubica finally pits. And Vettel's not letting Lewis Hamilton out of his sight. So Bottas in third, chasing down the one stop in Furs. So by the end of this lap, Bottas might be within a chance of taking second place. Oh no, slowing! Bottas is slowing! Engine! Oh, his engine's gone! That's surely going to throw out at least a virtual safety car, maybe a full safety car. And he's pulled over and Bottas is out the race. And yeah, we've got a virtual safety car, so everyone will have to stay to their right delta time. Ricciardo might use this as a great time to pit if he can get in before the virtual safety car ends. then he's going to gain a bundle of time there. He might not keep the lead, but he could gain a lot of time. First pits. As the virtual safety car starts, so he's going to gain some time there first. Out he goes. Where's he going to end up? And we're back under green racing now, and he comes out beyond the 2 racing points and just ahead of the Williams, so he's gained a bit of time there. But so Bottas out, so that's a Mercedes gone. So it's all down to Lewis Hamilton to bring home the points for them now. That's the 2 racing points are still going at it. So Bottas was chasing down Furs and Ricciardo to try and regain the lead, and his engine's gone, so Lewis Hamilton was the next one to attack them, and then he had Vettel right on his tail, so this is going to be very close towards the end of the race, as Hulkenberg is going up in the inside of the Toro Rosso. And that was an easy move really, but the Toro Rosso is trying to keep around the outside, but then has to dive back underneath and enters the pit lane anyway. As Verstappen having a ding-dong battle with Magnussen. Magnussen keeps the position, and we're now halfway through this race. So Leclerc lost quite a bit of time to Gasly, as you can see, and Gasly is now chasing Vettel, who looks like he might have lost a bit of time to Lewis Hamilton. And yeah, so after winning in Australia, Leclerc hasn't managed to carry on his form into the Bahrain Grand Prix at the moment. Yeah, Gasly now about a second behind Vettel, and Lewis Hamilton's nowhere to be seen. As Verstappen will surely get Magnussen this time. He sails down the inside and defends the inside line into turn 1, and that is done. So again, Verstappen's lost time and now has to catch his teammate and the Ferraris again. And that's Ricciardo, so he's pitted. Ricciardo's pitted. Lewis Hamilton now leads the race, but he does have to stop again, as do the Ferraris and the Red Bulls. So Ricciardo's still looking in a good position here. Looking for a podium, I'd say. Daniel Ricciardo. Exactly what Renault would need. And oh, we've got a safety car out. Safety car. Don't know what's happened here, but there's a safety car out on the track, and this could put Daniel Ricciardo to the front of the race. Not that we've got to stop again, and this would be a perfect time to start. And yes, they're all diving into the pit lane. In goes Leclerc. In goes Hamilton. In goes Gasly, and Hamilton leaves, and Vettel, they double step the Ferraris. And as Hamilton comes out the pit lane, where's Daniel Ricciardo? Ricciardo leads! And he's got the 2 racing points following him as well. They both one stopped. So you got Ricciardo followed by Butler, followed by Perez in the top 3. And the safety car will now pick up Daniel Ricciardo, the race leader. And can you believe your eyes? There's a Renault at the front of the race with 12 laps to go. So the top 3 put on the hard tyres to get to the end of the race, and Hamilton, Vettel and Gasly have got mediums on, so they will have a pace advantage, but they've got to get past first, and we don't know how many laps to a safety car. So now we've all formed a queue behind the safety car. Our order is Ricciardo, then Butler, then Perez, Hamilton, Vettel, everyone weaving to try and get heat into the tyres for the restart. Now, so Ricciardo leads for the first time in the... Will he nail the start? The launch? I think the 2 racing points behind him wouldn't put up that much of a fight. Alright, so we're in the safety car, will be in at the end of this lap. So Ricciardo's going to have 11 laps to try and hold on to the lead. And you have the fast starting Lewis Hamilton and Sebastian Vettel behind on the faster tyres with the faster car. Can they keep him behind? You've got behind Vettel, you've got Furs and Weber as well. And behind that, you've got the Williams who's still in there. And closer and closer to those first points for Williams as Ricciardo lets the safety car get away and give him enough time to get back into the pit lane. He can't pass the safety car line until the safety car is in the pit lane. So he's got to hold them back a bit, and surely he's going to dart as he gets round the last corner. And he's gone now, he's gone. He's gone, but he's taking the racing points with him. And we're on to lap 19, and he's defending Ricciardo from the racing point. And it's Perez darting up the inside. And he's through. But Ricciardo keeps around the outside, and Perez is into the lead of the race. We have a racing point at the front. Meanwhile, behind we've got Lewis Hamilton getting very close to Devon Butler. But it remains Perez, Ricciardo, Butler, Hamilton. Surely at the start of this race, Perez didn't think he would lead. But here he is, rounding the hairpin, with Ricciardo still right on his tail. I'll be a bit disappointed with that restart, Daniel Ricciardo. He would have wanted to stay in the lead. But Hamilton's coming at them. Fur's also lost a position to Webber. He's got the Williams on his tail again. And Butler going defensive from Lewis Hamilton, who gets a brilliant drive off the last corner, and he will open his DRS, and surely the racing point will be behind him by the end of the straight. No! They've got the same engine, of course. He's managed to keep behind. And Hamilton will have to wait. And he's got the Red Bull on his tail. He managed to get past Vettel. So Ferrari losing another position there. This is going to be an excellent finish to this race. Hamilton desperately trying to get past Butler so he can get after the front two. But the more time he spends behind him, the closer the Red Bull and the Ferrari get. Meanwhile, Webber's dropping off the pace a bit. Now Hamilton's going to have to dispatch of Butler here, and he's going for it down the inside of Devon Butler, and he's through, he's made it, and he's also sent Butler wide, so he's now going to come under pressure from the Red Bull. And the McLaren is being passed by Verstappen. And Verstappen goes flying up the inside first. He's also got up the inside of Webber. And that was nearly 2 in 1 corner for Verstappen. But he's got past the McLaren. He's now being passed by Leclerc. It's all going wrong for Furs. He's managed to keep Leclerc behind him for now. What an extraordinary race. So Verstappen feels like he's been having to make his way through the field the entire race. Just not got the rub of the green on the pit stops. So Gasly's made it past Butler, and now it's Vettel's turn. And Vettel darts over to the inside and should make that, and does. And Verstappen should make this behind the pit straight as well. Meanwhile, the other Ferrari, Vettel still trying to keep that position from Butler. The other Ferrari nearly made an attempt on Furs, but thought better of it for now. Lap 22 out of 29. absolute mayhem wherever you look. So both DRSs open, Furs and Leclerc. You'd think the Ferrari engine would have enough power, but this straight's just a bit too short. And Leclerc must be immensely frustrated in that car. It's just not gone right for him today. He's fighting to stay in the top 10 at the moment. He should be at the front. There we go, DRS open, and the Ferrari engine just has a bit too much power, and he's past Leclerc. And we'll hope to go. Oh, he's locked up and gone straight to Webber. Got away with it, a bit of damage on that front wing, but he's still got it. Lucky Charles Leclerc. So Butler's dropped a few positions. After being in the top 3, he now finds himself in the top 7. So now Gasly is going to try his luck on Daniel Ricciardo. He's overtaken by Hamilton. Yeah, Hamilton's up to second. Hamilton's up to second. He's got a few laps now to try and pass Perez for the lead. But looking at how close he is, will probably do within the next couple of laps. Ricciardo now under pressure from Gasly. And he's going to try at the inside of the last corner as Gasly. He's going to leave Ricciardo room, but Gasly's through. And Vettel looking menacing as well in the back of Ricciardo. Opens his DRS and is straight past the Australian. And Vettel's past Gasly as well, 2 in the pit straight. Vettel up to 3rd. Great move from the German. And after such a poor race from Charles Leclerc, Vettel bringing home the points. But Perez still holds on to the lead. Could it be a first victory for Sergio Perez? He was close in 2012 at the Malaysian Grand Prix, but that was not to be. Can he finally win a race? And Leclerc now on the back of Butler. Can it be a consolation? Can it be consolation for Leclerc? He'll want to at least finish within the top 6. Okay, so onto the back straight, coming down to the last corner. Butler goes defensive, but Leclerc will get such a better drive out the last corner. And we'll open that DRS, and the Ferrari should be straight past the racing point. And is. And that's Hamilton, he's past Perez. Hamilton leads. As expected, he got past the racing point at the end, and now Vettel will try for second, which will probably be a disappointment after the Ferrari front row in qualifying. And he'll open his DRS now, but this straight might be just a tad too short. But Perez goes defensive, but didn't really need to. Vettel wasn't close enough. And he'll now have to wait until the pit straight. But look how close he is. The only problem is, the longer it takes him to get past, the closer Gasly gets. But Vettel goes for it. Down the inside of the last corner. And he's through into second. He's now going to have 4 laps to try and chase down Lewis Hamilton. And I think Gasly's going to be past Perez as well if he's not careful. No, Perez is going back up the inside of Vettel. What is going on? And he's not quite made it. Vettel's held on, no? Yes, Vettel's held on, but that was a good attempt there from Perez. But Gasly's now got a good run up into turn 3 and made it himself. So Perez drops down to 4th with Ricciardo now on his tail. Absolutely unbelievable race. So we've now got Hamilton from Vettel, from Gasly, from Perez, from Ricciardo, from Verstappen, from Charles Leclerc, Devon Butler and Christian Furze. So Leclerc's picked up the pace a bit. Verstappen will now have to look in his mirrors until the end of the race. It might not be till the end of the race because Leclerc right behind Max Verstappen now. As Ricciardo opens his DRS, but he might just be a bit too far back from Perez, who might have a go at Gasly. And does. And sails through. And the Racing Point is back on the podium. I don't know who's going on the podium here. We've got Perez, we've got Gasly, and now we've got Ricciardo as well. It's anyone's guess. The top 2 seem to have cemented themselves into their positions. Vettel can't make an impression on Hamilton, but he's pulling away from the rest of the pack at the same time. Anyway, here we go again. Gasly rear wing open. Not close enough at this point in time. And Leclerc has got past Verstappen. So Verstappen has now fallen down to 7th. Leclerc in 6th. And Butler now coming under immense pressure from Christian Furze. DRS will be open down the straight. The Mercedes engine has a bit more power than the Renault engine, but DRS will cancel that out. And here we go. He's going to send one down the inside, I think, Furze. No, he's not. He's full better of it. He knows there's 2 laps left to get this sorted. As you can see, Leclerc is catching the pack, but he's only got 2 laps left. He's going to run out of time. And Gasly's back up to 3rd again. Switching positions very often, these 3. And Ricciardo is now right on the back of Perez. Could he still 4th? If he doesn't, Leclerc could. He might just be a bit too far back. So Lewis Hamilton will now cross the line in a few seconds to start the final lap of the race. And what a race it's been. And Verstappen's actually falling back into the clutches of Butler and Furs. Has he got a problem? So last lap of the race has started. And DRS for Butler, and Furs is open, and Butler goes to the inside of Verstappen, and Verstappen has lost another place. There's got to be some sort of problem with that car. The Red Bull is limping, and the McLaren now breezes up the inside of him, and Verstappen has lost another place. He's lucky it's the last lap, otherwise he could have fallen outside the points. Could have fallen outside the points, but first, oh, he's just clipped the back of that racing point and got away with it. As Ricciardo chases Perez, and they're still fighting for that position, but it looks like Lewis Hamilton will win from Sebastian Vettel, from Pierre Gasly, from Perez, from Ricciardo, and Leclerc was looking menacing in the final stages too. But Lewis Hamilton crosses the line and wins the Bahrain Grand Prix. And as we come into the final corner, it looks like Furs is going to run out of time to pass his nemesis, Devon Butler. But he will cross the line in 8th, Devon Butler 7th. What a race.
Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Without a doubt, the safety car changed everything today. The key to their success was keeping calm and reacting to the situation quickly. We've seen teams in the past throw away wins because they were too hesitant, but here they were decisive, and that's allowed them to take the advantage.
After an excellent performance at the Grand Prix, I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight amongst the Mercedes team, and they certainly deserve it.
Okay, so the final result. Great result for Perez and Ricciardo. Leclerc kind of let himself down a bit. Kubica only 14th in the end. We was hoping that the Williams would get their points in the end, but they didn't. Lost a few positions at the end. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you for part 4 in China. See you later.